What is your favorite flavor of snow cone?
Uh, anything blue. I love the flavor blue.
Okay. All right. Ironic, given the movie. Okay.
It being an election year, I'm going to go with red. Anything red.
All
Keep it
right.
balanced. Keep it balanced.
Keep it balanced. There we go. Keep it balanced. Enjoy both flavors, even though one is probably worse for you than the other, but we won't go into which one. Hey everyone, it's David Stark from Watch Our Pass. Today I'm talking to James Morris and Colin Cunningham about He Never Left, which is coming to select theaters on November 1st, 2024, and digital and on demand on November 5th, 2024. I'm going to talk to them right now, and while you're watching, if you can like and subscribe to this channel, that would be fantastic. I'll spend a lot. Thank you. Thanks so much for joining me today. I've got James Morris and Colin Cunningham talking about He Never Left, which is coming to select theaters on November 1st, 2024, and digital on November 5th, 2024. It is a new indie horror film that has a really wonderful style, a great opening, and some very visceral kills. I'm excited to talk to you all, so thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you, man.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
that.
Of course. So, I guess let's see. James, you are like listed as a writer, but Colin, you're also listed as a writer, so you're both involved in this. Where did this horrible idea come from? What trauma did you experience growing up that made you want to write this down?
Um, yeah, the story for me, I love isolation films like Rear Window, things like that. So that's always been a genre staple for me for horror and thriller. And I kind of came up with the idea based on just that genre, but also just some my history of working in law enforcement for developing the character of Gabe. Just met a lot of people who are broken and on the run and facing the consequences of what they've done, but who also aren't bad people. So I love that idea, and I love to explore that. And I've been working in horror films for a while, so it kind of just naturally evolved into what it was with the help of Colin, who went back and forth with me on story, and the help with my buddy Michael Ballif. Um, so it was a melting pot of things to kind of come to that final product, because it originally was just a crime thriller, a true one location. I don't think the original draft. I don't even remember, Colin. That's where I'm at, but it was almost completely in the motel room, and it just kind of evolved from there. And kind of, I'm glad I had their input, because I'm really happy with how it turned out.
Yeah, that's. Oh, go ahead, Colin, if you want to add something.
No, I was just going to say, and for me, I was just really tired of working on crap.
Yeah, that's good. Good to get a change of pace, right?
No, no, like what I mean is that so often, I mean, as an actor, you're working a job, you're working a gig, and you give it all you show up and you give it everything you got. But with this, it was just there was story, there was character, there was it was more complex, and you could go a little bit deeper because it wasn't about selling paper towels or some diet medication. It was about, hey man, there's a story here, and there's heart in it, and it is different. It's not your typical cookie cutter. Let's just photocopy the last five horror movies and then we'll spit it out and make a couple of dollars. There was something more to it, and that's really what attracted me to it. I'm like, hey, there's something else going on here.
Awesome. And I love hearing the process because I was curious, like it focused so much on Gabe. I wasn't sure if this was like a portrait of Gabe first and then the horror elements evolved around it, or if you started with like the horror elements and then you got so invested in Gabe that you like fleshed him out more and he became kind of the main part of the story.
Um, and Gabe was always the focal point from the very, very, very early drafts. That character, I really wanted to bring that character into it. Um, the setting was what really evolved. It wasn't like, hey, let's make a slasher mass killer movie. It's, hey, let's make a character piece about this guy who is completely broken and isolated, who stumbles into a mass killer horror film. And so um, the slasher elements and that backstory and the legend of Paleface and all that really is what led to the polishing. It gave it the backbone for the whole film to function correctly. The original draft was very disjointed and everything. So when Mike Ballif actually suggested the idea to integrate a mass killer, um, it gave me an idea or it gave me an opportunity to really flesh out that final story, because I loved the idea of, like, if a mass killer existed in a real world, what would that feel like? And so that was kind of the foundation of that. I wanted to go for realism, but also bring that classic genre and pay tribute to the movies I loved growing up watching, but to kind of put realism into it and see if that would work. And whether it did or not, I don't know. It's not.
It's on the screen. It's on the screen. I like you talking about bringing in the old movies you like because this definitely had an older feel to it. Like there was some film grain to it. So the text was all it felt like very like 1980s old classic movie style. So that also felt like a very kind of definitive choice for you. That I assume that was a kind of an homage to those movies that you grew up loving.
Yeah, correct. It was a tribute to, again, the classics like Halloween and those movies that kind of started these genres, but also just trying to put not like a modern spin on it per se, but just a real spin on it. I wanted to make, I didn't want any death to just be a death. I wanted you to feel every single one that happens, right? You care about the people that are on screen. And again, if it worked, great. I hope it did. That was that.
I definitely felt that. And the sound effects were what made me feel like the fact that you used like the killer basically used a knife the entire time was very kind of like throwback and very visceral. Like the just that sound that you know when it's going in and out like that was that was definitely something that caused me to like cringe in a good way. Like like grit my teeth in a good way.
Yeah, I'm glad it landed. You never know. I can't see it objectively anymore at this point. It's total just, I hope it landed.
Yeah, exactly. And I loved how in the opening you've got this like I assume a drone shot, some sort of like shot of all the fall foliage. Like that was just gorgeous. Where did you find this place? And was this like place that you grew up in or just some place that you found? Because the changing the leaves was just a really kind of like striking way to start this movie.
Sure, that is the Alpine Loop up above Provo, Utah. That is actually goes right through Sundance. So where the Sundance Film Festival, all that, it's up by Park City in that area. So yeah, just that's one of the most gorgeous areas. You have to get there at the right time. There's about 1 week a year where it'll look like that. And so we were actually checking it and going up and making sure, trying to time it right. And we almost missed it because a cold front rolled in and almost killed and just dropped everything. So we were lucky to get right when we did. But yeah, we just went up there and drove the entire loop up past Sundance and just filmed the entire day and getting all those drone shots and inserts and yeah,
That's
I
awesome.
love that sequence, and I love the music that Randon threw in there. That theme reveal. Oh, love it.
Yeah, no, for sure. Now, you are both like padding your IMDb stats with all sorts of credits. Were you both always set to star in this movie as well, or was that just something that kind of like naturally evolved? Were you writing this with the idea that you would play these characters?
Colin.
Uh, well, I basically came on board. I'd met James, sort of bit of a chance meeting at a little film festival in St. George, Utah. So, which is a good thing to know. Any aspiring filmmakers or actors out there, you don't need to be in New York or LA anymore, man. You can be in Iowa, you can be in Ohio, you can be in Utah. There's talent out there, and especially look in terms of Hollywood and New York, and it's hard to break to $100 million movie when you may be more rewarded as an artist and as an actor working with tremendous talent that isn't on either coast. And so I was blessed to have met James and Michael Ballif, and these were people who still believed in craft and storytelling, and it wasn't about zeitgeist. It wasn't about doing whatever is happening right now and checking off the usual boxes. It was like, no, we've got a bespoke story. We want to make a movie. They're passionate filmmakers, extremely talented. And I just thought the story was had depth to it, and it was complex, and it wasn't a lot of the one note stuff that you'll see normally. It had something different about it, and so that's really what attracted me to it.
Yeah, for sure. And James, were you always set to play the cop in this movie? I mean, I guess it fits your background, so it makes perfect sense.
That's what happened. Coming off the last movie we did, I was acting, and I had no desire to act in it. I originally was actually thinking about just playing Paleface because I could just get in the costume and do body work and stuff like that. But Mike really convinced me. He's like, "Well, you're a cop. Why don't you just bring that? Be a cop. Like, you know all these things. It'll be second nature." So I finally was like, "Okay, well, as long as I can." I guess the concern was I didn't like acting and directing because I wanted to focus on directing, but I was fortunate because the scenes where my character is in are much more, they're out of the motel, they're out of those intense moments, so I could really focus on Gabe. And so yeah, it kind of came from that. And then all the officers in the end of the movie in that scene that I'm talking about the build up there, with the exception of Sean, who plays my partner, all those are actually real officers from one of the fugitive teams that I've actually worked on. So that's a real
Oh wow,
strike team.
that's awesome.
Well,
Changed.
also, if I may say, James, if there was any time when things were getting a little too screamy or a little too crazy or a little too violent in the middle of the night, because sometimes we shot late. The nice thing was that if any neighbors complained, James would be the first one to get the call.
It's like, wait, hold on, let me put on my other hat. All right, ready to go.
Yeah, he just get on his walkie-talkie and say, "All right, yeah, no, I'm on my way. It's all fine. Don't worry about it. The situation's been taken care of."
There was just one moment when we were filming super late, and that motel is an L shape and just projects audio. And Colin was shouting at David's character in the door, "Go away!" We were doing that take, and it reverberated through the entire town. And I was just like, "Oh my god, they're gonna shut us down!" Like I was so stressed. And I told Colin, I'm like, "Let's get one really quick, yell as loud as you can. Let's get it done." And that's the one we used was that take. So it's like I'm glad we did it, but oh man, oh, it was stressful.
Yeah, that sounds fun and stressful. I'm glad you mentioned Paleface because I love the killer mask. Where did that thing come from? Was that something that you just created, or was this something that you like had a nightmare about? Like where did that like kind of offset smile come from?
So full creative credit to Billy James who designed the mask. I had some ideas. Basically, my idea was a mask that has different emotions on different sides depending on how you film it. And I drew a really crappy picture out of crayon, and sent it to him and said, "Here's what I'm thinking." And he just started doing revisions on it, and it grew into what it was. We thought tweak the smile, add the scar, things like that. But I just mean he came back even with early drafts of that mask, and it was like, ugh, like it immediately was feeling like I wanted it to. So he just took the direction and went with it. And he's a really talented guy, and I'm really glad we found him. He lives in the United Kingdom, and so I just found him on Instagram. I was looking for mask creators and loved his work, and well, here we are. I love the mask. It's phenomenal.
That's perfect. So I know we have a limited time. I'm gonna switch to a lightning round. They're just lightweight questions about the film. I want to see our personal experiences, map of things in the movie. Feel free to skip any of them. I won't be offended, but I try to keep them very answerable. First question: do either of you have any jewelry that was given to you from a family member?
No,
Not that you're going to show us. You have some in a box somewhere. Your
Yes.
trophy room.
Colin does. I don't. Yeah, I don't. I don't.
Is it like a necklace? Is it
I have a ring.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. Um, do either of your hometowns have like any sort of infamous crimes that people talked about, or crimes that like are well known?
Yes,
Go ahead, James.
it actually influenced the movie. There was a girl who went missing years and years ago, and those missing person posters are still up to this day, and they were the inspiration for some of the missing posters in He Never Left. So yeah, it was a big one back in the late '90s, early 2000s.
And
Oh, wow.
yes, I have. I was raised in a town that had, oh my God, serial killers, murder, rape, pedophilia, suicide. It's called Hollywood.
Oh God!
Yeah, a few stories there, just a couple
Oh, but where are
stories
we
there.
going with this?
This next question: what is the strangest sound either of you have heard in like a hotel or a motel? Maybe it's the sounds that you were making when you were screaming in the middle of the night in that L-shaped motel.
Man, I heard somebody whistling the theme to it. What was it? It's like a Mary Poppins theme all night long at a motel in Vegas one night, and I mean nonstop for hours, over and over again. I'm just laying in bed, just yeah. So I don't know what the hell that was, but yeah, I was not.
Definitely a
And
serial
I
killer, 100%
and
serial
I'd
killer.
say I was in a motel room when after you flushed the toilet, there was like a 10-minute, and it would do that, but it would take like 5 minutes to complete the range.
That's just good vocal. That's good vocal warm up. That is good projection. That toilet is ready to sing apparently. And the last question, a little lighter. What is your favorite flavor of snow cone?
anything blue. I love the flavor blue.
Okay. All right. Ironic, given the movie. Okay.
It being an election year, I'm going to go with red. Anything red.
All
Keep it
right.
balanced. Keep it balanced.
Keep it balanced. There we go. Keep it balanced. Enjoy both flavors, even though one is probably worse for you than the other, but we won't go into which one. But you can see that you can check out those flavors and also check out this indie horror movie, He Never Left. It's coming to select theaters on November 1st, 2024, and digital on demand on November 5th, 2024. This is James Morris and Colin Cunningham. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
That was James Morris and Colin Cunningham talking about He Never Left, which is coming to select theaters on November 1st, 2024, and digital on demand on November 5th, 2024. It is an old style slasher movie that has a really wonderful look, a fantastic opening, and some visceral kills. If you like this interview, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.